Welcome back to another episode of the ABL review. So, a couple things to note here. First of all, music in the background that you're hearing looks a little bit loud based on these levels, so I'll bring it down just a little bit. So, music that you're hearing in the background is music from the Gen 6 games, because I'm recording this right after the Pokemon Presents came out, and I'm actually super excited for Pokemon Legends ZA. Wasn't really planning on picking up a new, the Legend, because the last Legends game's I liked it, but I didn't love it. Just kind of seemed overly complicated, but I actually have a ton of nostalgia for Gen 6, so I'm really looking forward to that. Definitely going to pick that up and play it. But that's 2025. Let's talk about the present. First of all, you might be being like, Jeremy, if you're recording this on Tuesday, then that means ad drops aren't finalized. Yes, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do recaps for the battles, take a look at standings and the games next week, and then I'm going to do that for the North as well. And then I'm going to go ahead and put out a third video this week just covering ad drops. Should be relatively short, but it gives me more time to get these out. And I think there's a saying, it's make hay while it's sunny, make podcasts while the sun shines, something like that. And I'm going to do that. So let's hop into our week of battles in this season. Okay, sorry. Season 20, week 5. Where's the thing? Replays. Here we go. Season 20, week 5, South Division, ABL, let's go. So, first we're leading off with a truly awful battle. No other way to put that. This is just, okay, so, let's talk about Zeng here. Leads off with Mandibuzz versus the Grimmsnarl. The first couple turns here seem pretty standard, right? Don't want this, this Mandibuzz could throw out a Toxic, right? So you go into this, and you don't Parting Shot out, because since Generation 7, Prankster moves don't work on Dark types. Let's see how often that comes up this week. So, goes out with the Weezing as a Nasty Plot comes up. That's not good. You don't like seeing Nasty Plot Mandibuzz. Not a good start to your day. So, we're going to switch out into Tatsugiri. Why Tatsugiri? No idea. I have no godly idea why. Ooh, 62%. So this Tatsugiri could probably get off one hit before it faints, right? That's assuming it's max speed, which I happen to know this one is. So let's just try to get off some chip damage, because Tatsugiri is going to go down. Or you can switch out into Grimmsnarl. Seems weird, but hey, you caught a Shadow Ball. Correct prediction, right? It didn't take a ton of damage, but now what? Oh, you Parting Shot out. Since Gen 7, Dark is immune to Prankster moves. So, Josh apparently didn't know that. But don't worry, Pokemon Showdown has told him, so now he's learned it, so that's good. Air Slash comes out. Not doing a ton. Okay, so you have time to Spirit Break. Oh no, you go into Dragapult and you lose a whole bunch of health. Okay, well, let's see, a Thunderbolt, a Draco Meteor, at worst a U-turn, right? Now we got a hard switch into Excadrill. So, some discerning viewers may notice that it is turn 6, and this Mandibuzz has not been targeted with an attacking move. It's only been targeted with one move, and it was unaffected by it. Sometimes people oversimplify sports. Sometimes they're just like, at the end of the football game, the team who scored the most points is the winner. Yeah, it's an oversimplification of it, but that's what you got to do. At the end of a Pokemon battle, the team that KO'd 6 Pokemon first is the winner. It is very difficult to KO your opponent's Pokemon without attacking them. Not undoable, but you can't. It's way harder. So, come on a Shadow Ball here. 44%. Okay, great. You're gonna live a hit. You're gonna get off an Iron Head, Rock Slide, Stealth Rock even, if this Mandibuzz ever manages to switch out. Rapid Spin. If that's your best move to hit it, that sucks, but, and now Excadrill's gone. So, first Pokemon down, turn 7, and we also have our first offensive move coming out of the Saginaw Spirit team. Okay. Grimmsnarl comes out, Thunder Wave. Hey guys, since Gen 7, Dark is immune to Prankster moves. But we've learned that lesson a second time, okay? Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice. Strike 3. So gonna take another air slash, big chip damage. Now this, I happen to know that this Grimmsnarl does have Spirit Break. It should have clicked it at some point. But he doesn't. Goes hard out into Weezing, takes another 60-something%. That crit rapid spin from the Excadrill is a distant memory. I'm just gonna kind of let this one roll now, right? We get a flinch. That's bad luck, right? He could have gone for a Stone Edge or something there. Now we get up Stealth Rock. Spoiler alert, it's not gonna matter because this Mandibuzz is never leaving anymore. Finally, we get another offensive move, 63%. Imagine if he had done that earlier. Can you just, like, we'd have a Pokemon game. Thunder Wave, hey guys, Gen 7, Dark type moves. Yep, but don't worry, we're gonna save that Grimmsnarl in the back. And this Hippowdon is going to not effectively get off an Earthquake here. So, final turn of the battle here. Turn 19, in comes Grimmsnarl, and it goes for a Thunder Wave, and we learn for a 4th time this battle since Gen 7, Dark is immune to Prankster moves. Now, like I said in previous weeks, Josh is learning. He's learning and making mistakes that all of us made at some point, and I've talked before about how the Dark Prankster interaction I feel like is unintuitive. And I don't really like it. I like that it exists, but it just feels clunky, right? It doesn't feel. I don't feel good about it. I don't think we've ever had a 6-0 in the league where the lead Pokemon never switches out. To my recollection, that hasn't happened. It may have. Actually, no, never mind. I think we had like that. No, this is probably the 3rd time it's happened. Come to think of it, I think we had Hawlucha, Cloyster, and now Mandibuzz who have done that. Mandibuzz didn't do it quite as quickly. But did it very decisively. Yeah, Josh has to learn some Pokemon stuff. He's coming along, you know. We all had our struggles, and he seems committed to getting better. So good on him. But Zeng takes potentially the easiest win I've ever seen him take here. So good on him. Next, we're going to move on to Tyler versus Michael. So we got Oakland versus Santa Fe. It's a little like west side of the country thing going on here. Looking at the team, this is roughly the team we've been seeing from Michael a lot. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that Tyler brings any sort of consistency in his team. He brings what he wants to bring, and I admire that. So let's hop into this here. We get the Raikou lead versus the Espeon. Espeon's going to eat this big Shadow Ball right off the bat and put up the light screen. Going to hard switch into Clodsire. Get that Spit-Out Drop, not a big deal, because this definitely forces us out. Into Braviary as the Stealth Rocks go up. Good move by Mike to get those Stealth Rocks up. U-turn here. Now here's something I want to talk about. So, Clodsire has 3 solid abilities. 2 good abilities, 1 fine ability, right? So, Poison Point. Poison Point does what it shows here. When a Pokemon makes physical contact with you, it's got a 30% chance to poison them. And that's what happened here. Now, here is the problem, I think, with Poison Point on Clodsire. It's not a bad ability by any means, right? Because, like, you're going to be switching it on U-turns or fighting moves, which most of them make contact. I don't mind it. But what I do have a problem with is there's this Azumarill over here. Now, Azumarill is typically one of 2. I mean, even if it's not one of 2 sets, you have 2 abilities that actually deal with Azumarill really well. Water Absorb means if it's banded, it can't click Liquidation or Aqua Jet because you just soak those up. And if it's not, then it has to go for Play Rough, which means you resist that. So then it would have to have Ice Spinner, which is a worse move, right? The other thing it is a lot of the time is Belly Drum. But if you're unaware, you can ignore that +6 boost, and you could probably like make a Fizz Def Clodsire, just be able to live 1 Liquidation, and then KO it with a Poison move. So that's the problem I have here, and so not only are both of those abilities better, Clodsire typically there's a guessing game of is this unaware, is this water absorb, and at some point you got to bite the bullet and figure it out. But Poison Point gives away the game there. That's my biggest issue with this play. I don't like Poison Point just because it gives up information. And Tyler uses that later. So takes a toxic here. Good call there. Surprised at how much this Ice Punch does, actually. Like, that's a very Spadef Clodsire. Chilling Water comes out. Not bad, especially because this Glacier comes in, doesn't take as much from the Drain Punch as I expected it to. Fire Punch follow-up does just slightly more. High Horsepower doesn't quite get the... Oh, it does get the KO, but not... But he got the damage from the Toxic, so he actually doesn't get the boost for the Chilling Neigh, which is fine, because we have the Braviary coming out, doing big damage to the Great Tusk, and then we're going to have a double down from a knockoff Brave Bird Poison, all that stuff, right? So, double down here. Tyler's down 4 mons to 5. Espeon's going to come out, go for a Wish, and this is where things turn in the battle. So, logic would dictate that this is a good spot for Michael to be in, because Clodsire is very Spadef. It might not even faint to a Flash Cannon. And there's also a chance that this Magneton is like choiced, because they tend to be. But due to the fact that Tyler has Terra Water on his Magneton, and he knows he doesn't have to worry about this Clodsire being water absorbed because he saw that it was Poison Point, we get Terra Water, Terra Blast, KOs the Clodsire. Like, that's what I'm talking about. See the Steel Beam come out. Honestly, really cool bring. I like that a lot. I kind of wish this was like leftovers Magneton, so that way it could keep getting a little bit more HP, maybe Steel Beam a couple of more times. So we're just going to see them, like, we're going to trade some damage here. No big thing. I don't like the Will-O-Wisp play. I think, like... Oh, actually, I don't know what his moves were, I guess. I don't know if we see an attacking move from him. If it's, like, Defog on here as your last move... not a good Altaria set. So, yeah. See this come in versus the Ceruledge, and then we're going to see a sack of the Magneton. But, honestly, like... This is not a bad spot for him to be in, because Raikou outspeeds everything. Also, Azumarill's got a great matchup here. Psycho Cut seems weird, especially if you're going to go Life Orb, you're going to do big damage. I'm surprised that we're not seeing Poltergeist here. I'm not sure what Psycho Cut would be for. Here, let's take a look at the... Okay, ignore that. I'm just going to scan Tyler's team real quick. Sorry, if anybody's actually... I don't know if people watch this, or if it's... Maybe that's for Blaziken or something? Or the Sneasler? I don't know. Bezendipity? I don't know. That's a bizarre one. I don't really like the Psycho Cut. Obviously, Poltergeist would have been good here. Even Shadow Claw would have been better. And he's going to eat the Liquidation. He goes down. Altaria comes out. Goes for the Will-O-Wisp. Smart play, but we got the Play Rough coming out, and I don't think that crit mattered. I'd be surprised if it did. And Aqua Jet doesn't really matter, because whatever he went for there, the crit on the Aqua Jet also only mattered in terms of score. But Tyler comes away with his second win in a row, handing Michael his second loss in a row. Big swing of momentum here in the South. We're going to see how that impacts the standings later. But good game from Tyler, kind of starting to put it together here. Something we don't see a lot from Tyler is consistency. And we're starting to see that so far this season. So moving on, we've got this Sun battle here. We got this Sun team coming out from Papcoon. Also, shout out to Papcoon for being a great representative and beating that weirdo in the other league. I forgot. I don't remember what the league is called. It's like the SSL or something. But had a great showing there. 6-0'd him. I posted the link of the other guy's live commentary of Papcoon just dropping him on his neck. And then we got Darren, former champion here, looking to claw his way back into the north. Let's see how this battle goes. So, Cresselia gets the lead here versus the Ogerpon Wellspring. Big U-turn there. Does a lot of damage to that Brute Bonnet. That sucks. Sucker Punch fails there, but he's going to get a little bit of chip damage off on this Magnezone. Brute Bonnet goes down. So, he's been doing this all season. He's been really catching people off guard. Darren's been doing really well with the Hisuian Zoroark. Just no lie, been doing really well, right? It comes out with the Flamethrower. Obviously, Cresselia doesn't get Flamethrower. Shows that this is not in fact Cresselia, but gets a KO in the process. So goes ahead and knocks off the boots. The Gouging Fire is going to take the Heat Crash down to the Sash. but good damage. I'm surprised he's going for Sludge Bomb here and he wasn't going for like Hyper Voice or Shadow Ball or even Bitter Malice. That seems weird to me. I love this play here. I really do like the Burning Bulwark. I think that makes sense for this potential interaction. But I also really love this Prankster Substitute. This allows him to stall out Sun turns against this team. You'll see it come more into play later. But we see the Poison Jab come out. Big bunch of damage. Got lucky. Lucky is relative, but he got that crit off there. Great job. Solar Beam is going to be enough to break the sub there. Poison Jab. So now the Sun's down. He's only got 6 turns left. So that's important because he just has to... You just got to stall out this Sun, and that's what he goes for here. Prankster Substitute means he can get behind the substitute before the Earth Power goes off. Papcoon recognizes that. Go ahead, take a sub. I'm going to get this Synthesis up, get 70% of my health back. Really smart play on both of their sides. I love that turn. Going to just keep this sub down. Now, this is something interesting, because I don't know if this is a tactical error on Darren's part, or if he had a different plan. So on Pokemon Showdown, if it says 25%, it's not more than 25%. Like Pokemon Showdown rounds up a lot of the time. So that means this 25% is actually 25%, which means he can't sub again and be left with 1 HP. This is, you know, best case scenario, exactly a quarter of his health, which means he can't make a substitute. So I don't think Papcoon realized that. Darren obviously did. We're going to see what happens here. We're going to see him go for the Synthesis, expecting another sub to come out. He doesn't want to, you know, take a Life Orb hit on a substitute. But he can't go for a Prankster. He can't go for Prankster sub here because he doesn't have enough HP to make a substitute. Smart by Darren to recognize that, so that way he didn't go for substitute and get nothing out of the turn. He goes for Endeavor and gets off a bunch of damage, keeping this Venusaur low. After that, Papcoon realizes that the jig is up and he should just get the damage off, and smart. Cresselia is going to come out. We see the Synthesis come up here. I don't totally get that. Maybe he's just like, I can't really do enough damage, so might as well get healthy on this last turn. I guess that's probably a smart move. Leech Seed comes out. I love this. That's actually that's super helpful in this situation. I don't really like staying in with the Sludge Bomb at this point because, yeah, you see the stored power come out. That's not great for you. But what you are doing is you're keeping this Cresselia low. And you're still staying pretty healthy, all things considered. Now that's right there when he goes into the Gouging Fire. I think that's smart, trying to get a little bit of health back and then also, you know, wear this down a little bit more. But I also think Darren was smart to switch out and get rid of those Leech Seeds. Burning Bulwark goes off there. That wouldn't have worked out like you hoped. Goes for the Morning Sun here. I think he would have been better off going for the Heat Crash there, I think, or this Crunch. Because he probably could have gotten the KO there. It's kind of worth that trade. Because now the Crunch gets baited into this Terrakion. Gonna be doing a bunch of damage on whatever comes in. We see this Earthquake come out and do 51% and then 55%. Really rough roll there. I don't think Pap's in a winning position at this point. Because, yeah, you see this come out. He would have had to dodge there. If he dodges, he's in a winning position, but that's not what happened. Incinerate is just able to clean up. So, well done here. Good game from both Papcoon and Darren. I really think this is really good. Love seeing these two battle. And Papcoon's having a little bit of a rough season here in the South, but I do think he's playing well. He's not getting, like, there's little plays he's not getting right, and I think it's maybe mistakes in team building. So now it's time for our marquee match of the week.
Marquee match of the week. Now we have a theme.
So, marquee match of the week is going to be Dakota versus Connor. So really interesting battle here. Got a lot of big offense on Dakota's side of the field, but I think that for me, at least in my summation of this, because we were kind of live commenting this in the chat on Monday night as it was going, for me, big key player on Dakota's side of the field should be that likely Eviolite Bisharp. It takes on Darkrai really well. It takes on Lottie really well. It takes on Alolan Ninetales really well. If it were me, I would probably be trying to conserve this. And he also has potential for Terra Ground, which means that he can actually take out the other 3 Pokemon I didn't mention with Terra Ground moves. So that's what I was looking forward to in this battle. We don't end up seeing it, but that was what I was thinking at Team Preview. So we get the Galarian Weezing leading off versus the Infernape. Good job for Galarian Weezing. Gets with the Toxic Spikes. Now, we're going to talk about Toxic Spikes a little bit. Toxic Spikes are kind of an interesting thing because they force... It's not just like more equals better always, right? Because I would say more is better if you're playing a bulkier team, because I know a lot of people know the mechanics of it, but let's just kind of break it down. 1 layer means everything that comes in gets regular poison. That means they take 1/8 damage every turn. That's 12%. So, or 12.5. They take 12.5% damage every turn until they are dead. And if Toxic Spikes are up, then they get Toxicked when they switch in. So that means when they come in, they get Toxicked and they take 6.25% damage at the end of the turn. Then 12.5, and then 25, and then 12.5, and then 18.75, and then 25, and it goes up and up and up. It goes up in 6.25% increments every time, 1/16. So, through the first 3 turns of that Pokemon being in, so on turn 1, regular poison's better. On turn 2, they're the same. On turn 3, Toxic's doing a little bit more damage, but cumulatively, they've done the same amount of damage over 3 turns. So, in my opinion, 2 layers of Toxic Spikes is only worth it if you think you are going to be able to land them on a Pokemon that is going to be in for 4 turns or longer. That's just my opinion, but I do think I've backed it up with a lot of facts. So, and that's subjective, because you're giving up a turn, right? So that's really is this turn I'm giving up worth the toxic damage I'm going to get out of it? I think against Connor's team, his team's very offensive. And at a glance, we're probably... So, Empoleon, not going to be affected by the Toxic Spikes. Latias is Levitating, not going to be affected by the Toxic Spikes. So, we got these 4 Pokemon. Of these 4 Pokemon, I would expect none of them to be in for longer than 4 turns. Let's kind of keep an eye out and see if any Pokemon in this battle is in for longer than 4 turns that gets Toxic. Because he does set up 2 layers here. Sets up the first one, flip turn out. Actually, this is also super interesting because I've been critical in the past of Dakota running Neutralizing Gas, because I think Levitate's typically better. And against this team, I guess it can keep down the Aurora Veil. It can prevent the Aurora Veil from going up. But that's if Ninetales comes in on Weezing, then it can't go up. So that's a little niche. It's not like you can... It's not like if Ninetales is in, you can bring in Weezing and then stop the Aurora Veil from going up, because the snow's already up, right? But this is kind of crazy that this happens. We get Latias coming in on a Toxic Spike and getting poisoned, despite it being a Levitator. So, in this instance, if he could have Toxic Lottie's one of the Pokemon that I think could potentially be in for 4 turns or longer. So, ends up working out for him. He doesn't get the Toxic, but hey, Levitate means this Lottie's poison. That's a big deal. So, Psychic comes out here. Now, time to make we got a lot to go over in this battle. So we did some calcs. Dakota came back and said he was max special defense on Weezing. The only way that KOs from max special defense is one of 2 ways. Either he's Modest Expert Belt, Timid or Modest Choice Specs, or he is Soul Dew. Or I guess he could be, what's that item? Twisted Spoon. But it's harder to justify those types of items. So Soul Dew is banned. We banned it in past seasons. The intention was to keep it banned, but it's just something that didn't survive the switch over to this new Google Sheet rule set. It has been added. I added it in the south. I need to add it in the north too, because it was supposed to be in there. I'm not gonna dock Connor or anything on this, because he did the right, he checked. He's like, it's not there, I can use it. But I do have a rule in the rules book that it's just if I fuck something up as commissioner, we can fix it mid-season. So anybody who has a Latios or Latias, you can't use Soldu going forward. You know, Connor peeked behind the curtain and he saw a hole and he took it, which I don't blame him for. He didn't cheat at all, but he did expose a hole in the rulebook that we needed to fix. So he knows about it going forward. Public service announcement. But this is the old battle. Whoops, my bad. Here we go. So this does turn out to be Soldu, but Dakota plays it cautiously and he goes into, because I would have, if it were me, I probably would have gone into Bisharp. But then again, I wasn't looking at the full calcs. I didn't know the investment on this Galarian Weezing. He goes into Cleavor. This is basically hinting that the Cleavor would be choiced. Oh, hold on. Did we change? Hold on. Let me make sure my music is... No, I don't want this music. Let's see. Relaxing, emotional X and Y music. Here we go. We'll put that on. Because we're excited for Pokemon X and Y, right? So this is basically bluffing that this Cleavor is Choice Scarfed, and we get to learn a lot in this. For any of the new players who don't know these things, we get to learn some things here. So, if this is Choice Scarf Cleavor, it's just going to U-turn, right? But we get a double switch. So, what happened here is very important, because when two Pokemon switch out, the faster of the two Pokemon switches out first. So, either this would have been... If this was a Choice Scarf Cleavor, it would have switched out first. We know it's not a Choice Scarf Lati because there is no Choice Scarf Latios that can clean KO a specially defensive Weezing. So, we know that's not a Scarf Lati because it couldn't have KO'd Cleavor. We know it's not a Scarf Cleavor because it switched out after the Lati. Also, if it was Scarfed, he would have U-turned likely. So we get the Bisharp in versus the Empoleon. I still think this Bisharp is too important to have done what Dakota does here, setting up in front of this Empoleon. Because he also takes a crit, which does come into play a little bit here because, I mean, we'll see. But he's able to KO the Empoleon. Ampharos is going to come in. Terrifier, not going to get the job done there. Get the KO there. Now, here we see that if Dakota had just done one layer of Toxic Spikes instead of two, this Ampharos would have been regular poison and would have fainted right there. But he only takes 6%. So, that's just displaying the discussion we were having earlier. Zapdos is going to come in, Volt Switch, be able to KO this Ampharos. Arcanine's going to come in on this Darkrai. So I would have assumed that your answer to Darkrai would have been a pretty bulky Bisharp, potentially even Terra Flying or something to avoid a like a Focus Blast, right? Or I don't know if he's got I think he's Fire Ground Flying. But Dakota really pulls it out here, and he goes for the Scarf Close Combat on Arcanine. Very smart move. Kind of comes out of nowhere. The Latios is going to come in, force it out. That Draco miss mattered because based on this is I actually think we see it get hit with a Draco later. So we'll save that for later. But the Ninetales is going to come out, get Toxic. Dakota's just going to roost again, thinking that another Draco's coming. Volt Switch out into this Ninetales. Now, another mechanic to consider here, Ninetales, Ice types get a 1.5 boost in their defense when they're in the snow. And then when they're behind Aurora Veil or Reflect, damage is halved. So this is doing, what is that? So like 100 and 66 and then 30. So this is doing a third of the damage that it normally would. So yeah, so it's actually able to live this Flare Blitz. Not that it can do anything back really. If it had like Hypnosis or something, that would have been good for it, but not the case. Latios is going to come out, not take much damage from that. We're going to see a Draco Meteor KO this Arcanine from this range. Taking a little bit of poison damage. Psychic. So he switched up the move here, thus showing that this is in fact not choiced, meaning, and I think Brett did the calc that based on that Draco damage, that it couldn't have been Expert Belt, and it couldn't be Twisted Spoon because of the psychic damage. So we did figure out we suspected heavily that it was Soldu, or we were screwing up calcs. And that's how we discovered this. Talked to Connor about it after, but fixed the problem. This Infernape's going to come in, and this is what I was thinking of when we see Zapdos go down. You don't typically see a Zapdos fucking faint to a non-super effective move. That's fucking crazy. So super choice banded Infernape. That's going to go down. But Latios is going to be able to come in and click Luster Purge and pick up the final KO of the game. So well played by Dakota there. A lot of really interesting things to learn here in the South this week. So that's what we got to go over there. Let's take a look at the standings. So Darren, despite his loss last week, still at the top of the leaderboard here. Zhang sneaking up into that second spot. And then Michael right behind him. Kyle, he's got like 2 games to play at the end of the season. He's kind of like 2 games back from everybody else. And then also like, but Tyler sneaking up that leaderboard. Whenever Dakota and Tyler play, it's going to be an important game for, basically playoff implications. But Papkun's not out of it by any stretch because he has that, He has that tiebreaker over Tyler. So these 3 teams very closely competing. Connor gets a win. Josh still in search of his first win of the season. As of right now, kind of a distant thought in his playoffs hopes are a distant thought here. Really needs to try to find some wins to string together if he wants a shot at making playoffs. Taking a look at our schedule for next week, we've got Dakota versus Josh. Hopefully Josh can kind of get back on track there. Kyle versus Zhang. These 2 teams are kind of at the top of the division right now, so it should be interesting to see what happens there. Michael's on the downswing. Papkun, also still trying to find footing, so maybe this could be a shot for Papkun to kind of break into the middle of the pack here. Tyler versus Connor. Tyler wants to have a strong showing here because he's kind of firmly in the playoffs right now. A win against a team that's been struggling lately in Connor could be very, very important for him in terms of his potential playoff ability. Take a look at the MVPs. This is updated as I don't think we have week 5 stats in here yet. No. But this is through week 4. Gouging Fire, I think, got at least 1 or 2 KOs this week, so that's up there. Soon Zorark also got a KO, so it's still staying close. Grafai, I don't think got a KO. I may be mistaken. But the MVP kill leaderboard still up there. Surprising to see Clodsire has fainted in every battle it's come to. It's the only Pokemon that's got 4 faints. But yeah, not a lot to go over there. But if you want to see your full team's breakdown of stats, we got those over here. I think that's probably where I'm going to wrap this up. I know that this presentation and this order of things a little bit different this week, so bear with me while I kind of figure it out. Thank you all for listening, and we'll see you next week. Goodbye.